All right, good morning, everybody, again. We had a little glitch with the timer, so sorry about that. It's 10 o'clock. Welcome to this week's coffee break session. My name is Jeff McBride, and I'm one of the Long VRV sales engineers, along with Andrew Schmidt out of our Littleton office that focus on VRV sales and engineering design work. For this week, we've got Mike Cundiff, who's our regional sales manager for Daikin North America. And Daikin North America is the branch of the company based out of Waller, Texas. In 2017, Daikin opened the Daikin Texas Technology Park, kind of a mouthful, or DTTP, which is a 4.1 million square foot facility and is a mix of manufacturing, storage, and office space. This is the facility where all Daikin North American VRV condensing units are manufactured, and Daikin is the only company manufacturing VRV equipment in the United States at this time. So Mike is here to talk to us today about AHRI 1230 related to VRF efficiency standard testing updates. There's been a lot of inconsistency by the various manufacturers of VRF technology with respect to efficiency and published capacities. The update to AHRI 1230 will at least address the efficiency standard piece. Because this is a bit of a shorter presentation, Mike is also going to touch base on Daikin's new MegaCube product that's being launched into the North American market. So without further ado, Mike, can you tell us a little bit about AHRI 1230 testing update?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Mike, you're muted. Let's see.
There we go. Got me?
Yep,
there we go. Thanks, Jeff.
We got you. You bet.
You always have to have one little hiccup in one of these, right? So there it was. Okay, AHRI 1230 2023 update. So this AHRI 1230 is the VRF test standard that came out in the early 2000s, roughly around 2012. And I don't know if you guys can remember, but when VRF was first launched in the United States, there was basically launched under a Department of Energy waiver. So there was no test standard for the equipment. Everybody agreed that yes, it was an efficient system, but in the United States, at least, there was no test standard. So AHRI 1230 addressed.
Mike, somehow you got muted again.
Oh, every time I switch the slide, it mutes me again.
Oh,
that's okay. If I know it's playing a trick on me here, so. AHRI 1230 applies to air source systems with cooling capacity greater than 65,000 BTUs. So this is not for mini splits. This is for larger capacity VRF systems only. It applies to water source VRF systems with heat recovery. And then there is a ducted, non-ducted, and mixed indoor unit component to this. Below left is further definition of what constitutes a variable refrigerant flow system, and then on the right there is a diagram that shows that as well. AHRI 1230 2023 became effective January 1st of 2024. So the test standard has changed, and with that you're going to see different numbers coming out now versus what you've seen in the past. So the first AHRI 1230 standard was 2014. Roughly 9 years later, here we have 2023 that addresses some of those inconsistencies that Jeff mentioned earlier. AHRI 1230-23 is more stringent than previous VRF test standards. So it's a better illustration of what actual efficiencies you're going to see in the field on an actual project are. So with the change, the old 2014 IEER and EERs do not equal the new ones, but you're not going to see, like you saw for unitary systems, a SEER 2 versus SEER 1 number. It's going to be the same thing, IEER, EER, it's just going to change. Okay, so what energy efficiency points are tested? You still have those two cooling efficiency numbers, EER and IER. You have two heating efficiency numbers, a COP at 47 and a COP at 17. You have a heat recovery efficiency number, the simultaneous cooling and heating efficiency right here. And again, that's for ducted, non-ducted, and mixed fan coils. The IEER test points are the same for the earlier version and for this version. So you've got a 100% full load EER number at 95 degrees outside, and that's weighted at 2% for the IEER calculation. You have a 75% part load number at 81.5 degrees, and that's a 61.7% weighting for the IER calculation. 50% part load at 68 degrees, 23.8% weighting, and then a 25% part load at 65, and that's 12.5. And these are roughly going to equate to where the systems will typically be running throughout the year, and what that bin weather data would look like in terms of the curve. All of them are tested at an indoor condition of 80-degree dry bulb, 67 wet bulb. So what is changing in the new standard? Basically, you have high limits for sensible heat ratios for cooling efficiency numbers. So in the past, manufacturers could game it a little bit and put in higher sensible heat ratios, meaning drier room air that they're testing it in, which artificially bumped up the efficiencies that they were able to publish with the test standard. With the new one, there's going to be high limits for sensible heat ratios, meaning you're going to have a more humid, more realistic room that you're testing the indoor units in, which will make everything more of a level playing field as far as what the manufacturers are testing to. And then also on the control side, so manufacturers, so I don't know, there's possibilities to game the system, and you could implement a control strategy for VRF that was not the same as what you would buy off the shelf for a system going into a building. It was manipulated so that it would operate in a much more efficient envelope at these part load conditions than what the actual system would run in real life. So the sensible heat ratios that are now implemented with this new AHRI 1230 test standard are 0.82 limit at 100% full load and 0.85 at 75% part load test. On the controls verification side, there are standards in place and actual spot checks being done to ensure that the compressor speeds, the outdoor fan speeds, and the outdoor valve and indoor valve positions are the same as what you would find in a real life system that you would buy and put into a building. And I just put this funny thing down here. It's funny to me, but of course I believe you. Numbers never lie. Well, we all know that you can game this stuff in certain ways, and even within what manufacturers put into AHRI to publish, there's wiggle room. So you can have 5% variance, I think it is, and still basically meet the standard. So as these IER numbers get higher and higher and higher, that variance gets higher also. So it's important to have everybody being tested to a level playing field there. So example IER impact for these test procedures. So what this is showing is the average percent change based on this new, more stringent test procedure. The average percent change is all the numbers are dropping by about 13%. The range on that is 2.5% for some manufacturers, up to 25.6% for others. So you're going to see some differences there in what the energy efficiency numbers are here. And then this is the EER impact down below. So 15% on average change, and then that range is from roughly 8% to 20% in terms of a dropped efficiency numbers. So this is pretty significant, but I think it's a step in the right direction in terms of making sure that it's a level playing field out there, and what you see published is what you're going to get on your project. To address this also, AHRI 90.1 has also lowered all of the minimum efficiencies down to take into consideration this more stringent test procedure. So before 1/1/2024, it was 11. Now it's 10.3 is the EER minimum for AHRI 90.1. Likewise on the this is the heat recovery number here below, but before it was 10.8, now it's 10.1. So a little bit different. Okay, Mega Q heat pump water heater. So Daikin is coming out and getting into the air source heat pump hot water heater equipment game. This is a product that is available overseas that we're bringing to the United States now, specifically for domestic hot water. You can it's consists of a 10-ton outdoor unit, a booster module that you can put it outside right next to it, or split and put it inside, and then a tank of some kind. So this is a heat pump, 10 tons. It's going to be launched with R410A originally, and then transition to R32. You have a cascade unit here with another a booster compressor that gets the hot water to 180 degrees or so. It's got a built-in variable capacity water pump, and then the tank control kit that you need right here. You just need the one tank. You don't need 2 tanks, 3 tanks, whatever. We can do everything with one. You can connect up to 6 Mega Q systems to one water loop as well. So 120 MBH capacity, rated outdoor conditions, -4 to 109. Hot water set points of 140 to 194, up to 65 feet separation split on this. So you're pretty flexible in terms of where you put this. Up to 4.6 COP, and it is all electric for the electrification movement that we're all seeing out there. These are some of the typical parts and pieces. You have your Mega Q units. These show them side by side, but again, this can be split. Here's your field piping. Here's your tank. Here's your tank controller and a remote controller there. And then out to your loads, your domestic hot water loads out here. This does not have this is not double wall, so you do need to have a tank of some kind and either a heat exchanger or some sort of double wall isolation in your tank. These are excellent for retrofit projects for people that are out there with existing buildings and things like that want to go and electrify, new construction, VRF projects, you name it. If you've got a domestic hot water load of any size, these are a great option for that. And then Jeff, do you want to talk about the upcoming boot camps?
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for both those updates. I'm hoping that you can maybe just stay around the rest of the day because you're going to have about 35 questions on MegaQ, I'm guessing. So I think it's going to be a big opportunity, a big product in this market. There's a lot of people looking for electric hot water generation. So I can just start to sense the questions and follow-up opportunities coming our way. I wanted to just quickly touch on some workshops that Andrew Schmidt and I have been putting together for VRV kind of subject matter that you've all expressed interest in. I've got a flyer up. I'm not going to read all the different subjects there for this VRV boot camp, but the concept is for Andrew or myself to come out to your office or host you here at Long in our new training center and present the topics that you're most interested in that is on this flyer. So there's about 8 hours of content here developed on the various subjects that you see. We've got the VRV design overview, which is a big portion. It's about a 2-hour kind of lunch and learn type of opportunity that we can certainly scale back and cater to your to your desires. But if you have interest in scheduling these types of lunch and learns at your office or here, please reach out to me. I'll send you the flyer, or we can get it over to your other Long sales representative to get you the flyer so we can schedule some training. Appreciate all of you attending again today, and please join us next week for another coffee break. And it escapes me the subject, I apologize, but you'll be getting marketing information if you subscribe to the coffee break series. Thanks a lot. Thanks again, Mike.